Live from Fox 5, welcome to the News Block.
And here are the top stories on the news block. A test to the ceasefire in the Middle East. Israel announces a cut to aid into Gaza over concerns about the return of the deceased hostages. But first, air traffic control concerns taking off. How federal staff are raising the red flag over the ongoing government shutdown and its impacts to air travel. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sharon Crowley. Thanks so much for joining us for the news block. Today marks day 14 of the government shutdown. And here's a live look at LaGuardia Airport right now, just one of the airports across the country where air traffic controllers are demanding an end to the shutdown. Fox 5's Richard Giacovas joins us live there now with the very latest. Richard, these federal employees are really getting fed up, right?
They sure are, Sharon. Think about it. This is the 14th day of the government shutdown, but this is the first day that these air traffic controllers will go to work with a partial paycheck. And then 2 weeks from today, they could lose it altogether. They're some of the most stressed workers in the country. And if you remember, going back to the summer, there was a staffing shortage with air traffic controllers. So now this is just adding to their misery, many of them say. And a lot of them were out here today at LaGuardia, members of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association, to inform passengers about the effects of this shutdown, at least when it comes to flying. Today marks that first official day. They'll only get that partial paycheck, and then their pay goes away completely on the 28th. Imagine that. But air traffic controllers, as essential workers, are mandated to work. That's the issue here. So it includes 6 days a week and up to 10 hours a day, either partial pay or no pay. They're now coming to a reality that they may be forced to find a second job to pay their bills. And then you have the passengers who aren't quite sure what's coming next.
We have a very hard career, and
How are you going to pay for childcare, food? How are you going to pay for gas to get to work?
I would be worried if I were a government worker.
Yeah.
No. Am I for it? No. Am I for any of the politics right now? No. It does worry me, and I don't know why they can't come together and figure something out, because everybody's hurting when something like this happens.
So how will this affect you if you're traveling over the next few weeks leading up to the Thanksgiving holiday? That's about 6 weeks away. Well, it can. Severe delays at major airports, Atlanta and Denver. It's already happening in major hubs there. Hasn't quite gotten here to New York yet, but that could be on the list if this shutdown continues. As for the safety, a lot of people have questions about that. There is, luckily, a contingency plan in place to keep these flights safe. So they will obviously not take off unless those safety plans are in place. Sharon, we'll send it back to you.
So, Richard, are these employees going to receive a lump sum in back pay when the government shutdown does end?
So a likelihood they would, they would, over the course of however long they weren't getting paid, at the end of this government shutdown, they would receive all that money back. You would think the president had signed that actually into law during his first term, but he most recently said that it would be up to Congress to approve that. So there's still a lot of questions about that, and these air traffic controllers are not so sure.
Not great for morale. Okay, keep us posted, Richard. Thank you so much. And some breaking news. A fragile ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war has now been tested after receiving deceased hostages at a slower pace than it's expected. The Israeli military agency declaring Gaza violated the truce. The agency said it would respond by halving the number of trucks allowed to bring humanitarian aid into the devastated territory of Gaza. In a social media post, President Trump said he wants the dead hostages held in Gaza now returned, and warned that if Hamas, quote, they don't disarm, we will disarm them. All right, now let's get a look at our weather forecast. A live look outside right now. A slow clearing following the nor'easter and all of that flooding we saw in a lot of our areas. Meteorologist Audrey Puente is joining us now for a look at the weather. Hi, Audrey.
Hi there, Sharon. Well, we're starting to see some clearing, and it's very slow and gradual moving in across the tri-state area. It's still windy, too. We have wind gusts up to 25 miles per hour, but those winds will slowly weaken as we go into the next couple of days here, too. So it's going to stay breezy till Thursday, but again, it will become a lighter breeze by then. We also have a dry stretch of weather ahead of us, which would be a nice change from all the dampness we started off this week with. Lots of clouds out there. We have 61 degrees in Central Park. Overcast skies being reported at LaGuardia, with also also a number of 61. We're at 62 down the shore in Atlantic City, and you can see on the visible satellite and radar here, the visible cloud cover here, that is getting a little bit of a break coming apart here across parts of the Hudson Valley and New Jersey. So we could see some peaks of sun before it actually sets this evening. A coastal flood advisory is continuing until 8 p.m. tonight for the south shore of Long Island here, as well as parts of the Jersey Shore. During the time of high tide, we could see about a half a foot of inundation, which would, of course, exacerbate any flooding that's already existing in those areas. So planning ahead for tonight, it'll be dry for the rest of the evening. We'll have gradual clearing overnight, too. Temperatures will be dropping into the 50s in the city. I'll let you know how long this dry stretch ahead of us will last coming up. Sharon?
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Audrey. Well, developing now on the show, a Bronx man indicted on charges of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and arson after being accused of torturing and killing an elderly couple in their home in Bellerose, Queens last month. The Queens DA says that Jamel McGriff forced his way into the victim's home and then set their house on fire. McGriff was remanded on a 50-count indictment. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison. And an 11-year-old boy is in critical condition today after a hit and run in Brooklyn. The Citizen app video capturing the scene in Gravesend. The NYPD says just before 6 yesterday evening, the boy was riding a scooter at Avenue V and Ocean Parkway when a black car slammed into him and kept going. A 25-year-old pedestrian was also hit by debris from the crash. He's in the hospital in stable condition. The sedan was later found abandoned on Ocean Parkway. So far, no arrests have been made. All right, now to the very latest in the race for mayor. We are just less than 1 month until Election Day. If you can believe it, independent candidate Andrew Cuomo held a press conference in Midtown addressing the city's housing crisis and his plans to create more affordable housing in the city. Democratic candidate Zohran Mamdani attended an economic development forum with New York Governor Kathy Hochul in Queens today. And this morning, Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa discussed subway safety at a press conference at 57th Street and 6th Avenue at the entrance to the F train. For the very latest on the New York City mayor's race, tune in to Battleground NYC, the fight for your vote, hosted by SE Cup. You can catch that weeknights at 7 on the Fox Local app and after the 10 o'clock news right here on Fox 5. All right, Mayor Eric Adams unveiling a new initiative this morning aimed at helping new mothers struggling with homelessness. The goal is to keep young families out of the city's shelter system. The program will provide funding to allow pregnant women to arrange housing for themselves and their baby after they give birth. The mayor says no one should have to go straight from the delivery room to a homeless shelter.